quickly. Let's talk offense. And here's the comment, the stat that's been going around today, the alarming one, that the Sox have now dropped below the Reds in total team OPS. And this is a top to bottom thing. I mean, right now, honestly, he's only been back like under a week, but I think Yohan Moncada is like the best hitter on the team right now, at least right now when we're talking about this here. It's bad. Let's air out some of these struggles, guys.
It all comes down to this team lacks an offensive identity. They lack a clear, cohesive offensive approach. They go up there. The overwhelming majority of the guys in this lineup on a day in and day out basis, you're looking at 6-7 guys that as long as the ball leaves the pitcher's hand and makes it on a fly, 60 feet, 6 inches, they're swinging. How many at-bats this week did Josh Harrison give away where pitchers were trying to give him a free base and he flat out refused to take ball 4? It's exhausting to watch. Before Moncada hit the 3-run homer on Thursday night when Timmy was up there, everyone knows I love TA. I'm a big TA guy. At this point in his career, he's not going to be a guy that's going to develop plate discipline. That's just not who he is. He's aggressive in the batter's box. But he got to that 3-1 count, and he's swinging out of his shoes at pitches that are nowhere near the strike zone. They're trying to put him on base, and this team just refuses to take walks and take free base runners. That's a big part of the issue here. And the fact of the matter is, if you're not going to hit the ball out of the ballpark, you need to find ways to have more base runners out there because they're not slugging at all. This team, they're a very good base running team. They're very sound in terms of going first to third, second to home. They've got the highest stolen base efficiency in the league right now. But you can't steal first base. So at some point here, something has to give where this team is going to say, hey, we're going to start taking some pitches. We've got to start working counts better, and we've got to start taking walks. If that means Josh Harrison has to go away and you bring up Yolbert Sanchez, who is walking at like a 10, 11% clip in Charlotte, then you have to do it. You've got to do something here because this is very problematic at this point. We have enough of the sample size here at this juncture to say this team does not have plate discipline. They've got to change something up to fix it.
It's wild to me. It's absolutely wild to me that this team, with the players on this roster, cannot put together just games where they're winning by more than a run or two. There's just so many different oddities that you've seen. It almost is reminiscent as a whole team of what you saw from Yasmani Grandal last year at the plate, where it's like he's getting on base and walking, but he can't hit the ball. There's just so many things that become so frustrating when you focus in and hone in on each individual little bad stat. To me, a lot of this is again, it goes back to what Steve said. It's the complete approach. Like, where are you at with that? But I go and I look up and down the roster, and Steve, just back on that same comment, you have the same type of hitter almost up and down through the lineup in your power guys, especially Eloy Jimenez, Jose Abreu, Luis Robert. The playbook on this is throw outside sliders in the dirt and you're going to get guys to chase stuff. The fact that hasn't been solved yet is just going to continuously lead to problems in plate approach and just offensive situations. That's exactly why you see bases loaded all the time and nobody crossing the plate, is because every team in the league knows exactly where to go to for those spots in the lineup. And there's very few guys who are going to come through and be dangerous. And the number one guy who should be isn't fucking doing it. He's not doing it at all. And I'll turn it over to Johnny.
Yeah, I've been talking to Jose Abreu here. When you want to dive into struggles, we could do a whole segment on Yasmani Grandal too. I love the guy, but man, I don't think the legs are completely under him like you saw when he could not hit very much at the beginning of last season. I feel like we're seeing that, and obviously you're seeing it in the usage. He's not catching all the time. He's had a few days off, so that doesn't bode well there. But when we're talking Jose Abreu here, man. Tony, I said to you guys, I'm kind of like tired of the shtick. I'm tired of the, I have to play every day. And then I'm tired of the, at this point now, it's, I'm going to re-sign myself because Andrew Vaughn's the future at first base. Let's not lose sight of that. Those are just cold, hard facts only right there. But, and I know Jose Abreu can be productive. Shit, he won an MVP, granted, shortened season there, but we know he can. But you can't wait until those warmer weather months. That's what people say. Oh, well, Jose Abreu is going to be fine when it comes to July, August, whatever. Well, are Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge waiting until July, August to heat up? No. We need that right now. He needs to be a leader on this team because he is, in terms of a clubhouse leader, he needs to lead by example on the field now.
What do you do with him right now, Johnny? That's the biggest question.
Day off. I would love to give him a day off or two. I know you got a tough stretch here coming up with, a weird week ahead with doubleheader and 5 games in Kansas City, but I would like to see him have a day off, maybe 2. Shit. I know it's out of his, vocabulary, but that's what
I would think that Tony La Russa, probably given his pedigree and as long as he has been in a major league dugout, he shouldn't have an issue calling Jose Abreu's mom and telling her that his baby boy is taking the day off because he needs to get his head out of his ass. Ricky might have been too intimidated. He might not have had the clout to be able to do that. But Tony La Russa likes to talk all the time about the World Series rings. Tell Jose Abreu's mom, hey, I got 3 rings. Your boy's sitting his ass on the bench here. He needs to get right.
Well, and Steve, I'll go here because, you want to say does Tony La Russa have the problem with it? I don't think Tony La Russa has a problem telling Jose Abreu's mom to shut her mouth. I think a lot of this comes from Jose Abreu himself and where he sits in this organization. And if you want to go back, Tony La Russa would have to tell that to Jerry Reinsdorf.
Sit your fucking ass down.
Jerry Reinsdorf is Jose Abreu's mom in this situation. That's the real problem.
Then Tony La Russa needs to tell his buddy that, hey, I'm making the fucking call here. He's sitting. Period. Paragraph.
He needs to go Tony Soprano. I'm the motherfucking one who calls the shots.
Yes. Exactly. He is the number 1 baseball guy in this organization. When he was hired, he usurped Kenny Williams. He usurped Rick Hahn. He took their power. He cut their nuts off. So he's calling the shots at this point. If he thinks Jose Abreu needs to take the day off, then fucking Jose Abreu needs to take the day off.
Yeah.
That all goes to whether or not Tony La Russa thinks that Jose needs a day off or not. That's
if he doesn't,
can you?
I don't know what he's looking at here.
Right. Yeah. That's it. You got to be able to realize it. And the thing is, here's because we want it fixed. We need him. The White Sox need this guy. They need his bat to get going. Obviously, we all know that. But we've tried the play through it. We've tried the, I'm going to be the everyday the competitor here. So try a different approach now. If you do the same thing over and over again, it doesn't work, and do it again. That's insanity, right?
If I see him playing both games of the doubleheader,
yeah, that's like, come on, like at least.
I will tell you this: I've got some real concerns about what we're going to see lineup wise in Kansas City, especially on doubleheader Tuesday. There, I could be in for a real long day at the K.
What frustrates me, guys, is that when you look at the talent, all these names in the lineup, and you got Andrew Vaughn, when you got Jose Abreu, theoretically, you got Yohan Moncada, Luis Robert. These are names that should be bashing the ball, and we should be one of the most potent offenses in the league, like we saw for a very, very small taste early in the season.
You're absolutely right. They should be. They should be a team that is near the top of the league in terms of runs scored. They should be near the top of the league in terms of home runs. As of right now, I literally just looked. They're tied for 18th in the league in home runs with 29. Or actually, no, it would be at 30 here, counting Adam Engel's homer today. That's too low. I talk about this, and I've been talking about this for almost 20 years now. This team needs to hit home runs in this ballpark. Hit 200 home runs, you win the division. It's that simple. They're not team go far.
Yeah.
Hashtag confirmed. So what did we see this weekend? The Yankees beating the living shit out of the baseball, hitting home runs, winning baseball games. It works. You look at the numbers league-wide. When you out-homer your opponent, you win 75% of the time. Stop hitting the fucking ball on the ground, elevate, and celebrate. It's really simple.
I love that,
Steve. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's that simple right now, because you see what's happening with some of these hitters just putting balls to the warning track, and I refuse to accept that. Like, just continuing to do that, like outside of Jose Abreu, I've seen plenty of fly balls that go to the outfield that are of the routine variety.
There are very few base hits available league wide on the ground today. That's just an absolute fact.
Start beating the shift then. Start focusing on beating the shift then to get on base. There, you got to start to do something different. If you're not going to be able to leave the ballpark, walk more, do some of this other stuff. But I kind of refuse to believe at this point that like all of a sudden we're just going to start leaving the yard more in the current conditions. Just as of right now, you got to try to. You can continue to do it, but if that's the approach right now, if the approach right now is try and hit home runs, then they're failing miserably at it. And I feel like that's what the approach is. And some guys just are getting on top of stuff too much at bat, maybe not feeling it at the plate right now. But if I feel like they came into this season trying to do exactly what Steve said, even though Frank Menachino wants to say, fuck the home run, hit a single, all these guys are going up to the plate trying to hit a homer. Every single time I see Yasmani Grandal at bat, he's trying to hit a homer or walk. That's all he's trying to do. Well,
he's a 3-outcome guy. But Tony, you brought up approach. And whatever your approach may be here, there's one guy that is at least onus can fall back on. It's been a widely debated topic, and it's Frank Menachino. What are you guys' thoughts? Are you in the camp of like now after you see something like that, the Sox drop below the Reds, the pitiful Reds in total OPS as a team? When you see stuff like that, are you in the fire Menachino camp?
I'm personally not in that camp. I think he might end up being the sacrificial lamb if this thing continues to go down the path that it's going. I don't know if you guys saw, I want to say it's about 2 weeks ago, there was an article from James Fegan over at The Athletic where he interviewed Menachino, and he actually got some new quotes from him saying that this team needed to take more walks, that they needed to take pitches and stop swinging at every fucking pitch that goes up there. So he's saying the right things publicly. I'm curious to see how that message is getting conveyed in the hitters meetings, in the clubhouse when they're doing their pregame cage work. But Johnny, you talked about this at the outset. There's too many of the same guy.
Yeah.
That's what this comes down to. You contrast that with the Yankees. The Yankees have a lot of the same guy, but that same guy that they have a lot of is a guy that will take pitches, is not afraid to have an at-bat where they get 2 strikes on them. They don't care. They don't care. They will work pitchers to death. They grind this thing down. That's why we saw 3 out of the 4 games in this series were close to 4 hours. I mean, today might have been the fastest game in New York Yankee baseball history. The fact that it was, a 2.5 hour game, but that is an anomaly. That is far from the norm with that team because they go out there and they just grind you to death. And there is a reason why they have consistently been one of the top offenses and a perennial playoff team for going on 3 decades here.
All right, so we need some drastic measures to fix this. And you're talking about, okay, I like that because honestly, I did not see that Fegan one. So thanks for bringing it up about the Frank Menachino interview. But what we need is shock collars, guys, not to cheat, not to steal signs. But when a guy's going to go and swing at some bullshit, Frank needs the buzzer in the dugout and then shock Jose Abreu when he's going to go and chase that slider alone outside. I think that's what we need. We need some drastic measures.
I don't know what to do to fix this, Johnny, but that seems like an appropriate start. I don't know. It's just for the Menachino stuff. I didn't see the article either, Steve. I appreciate you bringing that to the table here because I didn't see it either. With that new information in mind, I kind of feel the same way you do. He might end up being the sacrificial lamb if this thing doesn't turn itself around because you need something different. You need a different voice. You need something here. I don't think that this is full system failure. You've seen this team have the ability to go put together a bunch of runs, not win a ball game. You've seen this team be able to win close ball games. They have the ability to do the things that we're talking about. They're just not putting it together consistently enough. And I don't know where that is. It seems more mental to me right now than anything.